All right. Hi, everybody. This is Courtney Loisel. I'm the vice chair of the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Committee for CB9. And I'm calling our meeting to order Thursday, October 12th at 7:11 p.m. I see we do have one additional person who joined, but can folks just introduce themselves? Celeste, do you want to start?
Hi, Celeste Chase. I'm one of the board members and a new member to the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Thank you. And we have Shawnee on the phone, or
Yeah, that's
yes?
right. Hi, I'm just a resident on Carroll Street.
Well, hi, Shawnee. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. And Khalid, you want to introduce yourself as well?
My name is Khalid Jamaat. Good evening to all. Thank you for joining. Khalid Jamaat from Brooklyn Community Board 9, Community Associate here, to assist the best way I can administratively. Please reach out to the board office if you have any concerns. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I actually see we have one more person who just joined. Hi, Ruth. We're just doing introductions. Do you want to introduce yourself? You're on mute, just so you know.
Hi, my name is Ruth Gusey. I am an architect. I actually live in Fort Beach, but I am the treasurer at the Union Street Community Garden and have been a part of that garden for the past 16 years.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. My name is Courtney Loisel. I'm the vice chair of the committee. And we do expect Nicholas Almanor, who's our chair, to join us in a little while. So thanks everybody for joining. The first thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. I know Celeste and I just got them, so let's just take a minute and look at those.
Also, Ruth and Shawnee, if you we have the minutes on our website. If you're able to access that, you could view the agenda as well.
Thank you, Khalid. All right, so I will move to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Courtney, I'm still reading, unfortunately.
Okay, that's all right. Take your time. And hi, Brenda. I see you joining us. How are you doing?
Good. Hi. It's very difficult to understand you. Your audio is wobbly.
Okay.
Let me try Mr. Almanor. Second.
I'm gonna dial in. Just give me a moment.
It was difficult to get into the meeting. At first, it went through updates. Then the second time I tried to get in, it says I'm in the environmental protection meeting. Finally, I tried again and again. And finally, I got into the parks meeting, but I don't know what was going on with that Zoom link. Anyway.
Yep. I was just speaking with Mr. Almanor. He's going to be joining shortly. Ms. Pagan, you said you were having issues joining the meeting?
Yeah, it took me to the first, it said Environmental Protection Committee and waiting for the host to start the meeting. So
Yeah.
I left and came back and tried again.
Okay. I think we're having some issues with our some technical issues because we're having trouble with the everybody getting the meeting minutes and agenda. I don't know if you received that.
I did. This
Okay.
afternoon, yes. I might
Yeah.
have received it prior also, but at
Okay.
least around 3 something, I think this afternoon I received it.
Okay, yeah. Some people in
Well,
the committee was
yeah.
having issues with that. So, all right, we're gonna have to, work on this. So this doesn't happen again.
See. Yeah. Yeah. Got the, okay, the agenda, God. What's this? Yeah, I got the meeting minutes too. Polish headers.
Is my audio a little bit better?
Oh, it sounds much clearer.
Oh, good. Okay, excellent, excellent. So I see we have a couple people who just joined us. Thanks everybody for joining, and we're just in the process of reviewing the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay. Did you share your screen or everybody's reading it on their own?
I think everyone's reading it on their own.
Well, it looks like it's correct to me.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
I think everything, I agree. I think everything, mostly everything is there. One part that I don't see is the discussion we had about the parks and having the review that was done last year sent to the committee again. That doesn't seem to be on
Mute myself.
the
Hi,
minutes.
everyone. I'm here.
Hello.
Hi, Nicholas.
Okay. Mhm.
So,
Hi, Nicholas. We're
Okay.
just reviewing the minutes, and Celeste was talking about something that was
Get
missing.
started, okay? Ah,
so what
All right,
was,
Celeste, you were
If somebody
saying,
makes, Courtney, if somebody makes a motion, I'll make a note of it and I'll make a change on the minutes for you.
So,
okay, did you catch what the change was? I'm sorry, Celeste, I don't think I did.
okay, so we had a discussion last meeting about the parks and how there was a study done, I guess a walkthrough of the parks last year. And we were to get a copy of the work that was done to see how we can move that forward and see what needs to be done at the parks again and make any relevant requests to elected officials or city departments.
what, do you remember who it was who did that?
yes, the meeting is on. You should try to join in now.
Nicholas
Yeah.
and David did that study. They have a, they
Right.
have a,
Oh,
Okay.
you're talking
They
about
have
that.
a-
I
they have
thought
an
it was
instrument.
Parks
Mhm.
they have an
Department.
instrument. They have an
Okay.
Excel sheet that they were going to pass along.
Is that the one
And-
you were
and-
talking about?
Is that what you're
Celeste?
talking about? Or is it something
Yes, I
else?
think Excel sheet and perhaps photos as well from my recollection.
Hi,
I
you
remember
could
that
try
too.
to join
I'm-
now because people
He's
are
trying to
on.
get
Your
somebody-
link is not working?
I moved to
Close it
amend
and
the
start again,
minutes
otherwise
to
I'll say,
include
I'll text you another.
the item
link
raised
or
by
email you
Celeste
another link. The link I'm using,
regarding the
okay?
conditions of the parks. And Nicholas, I
Right.
don't know if you can hear us, but you're not on mute.
Right.
Nicholas.
You can mute
yourself.
him. Can somebody mute him? Khalil?
He
Let me
can probably
see.
mute him.
Khalil,
Khalil,
can
yes.
you? Yeah, would you please mute
Yeah,
Nicholas?
I muted him.
Okay, we
Hey.
appreciate that.
All right, so court today.
Courtney, say it again, because it
Yes.
was every other word.
Sure. I move to amend the minutes from the last meeting to include the discussion of conditions of parks.
Conditions
And I
of
would
parks?
also just separately, yes. I separately that the document still has to be distributed. So I'll make a note of that too.
The Excel sheet
don't have
still
a
needs to
copy.
be distributed.
Yeah, at least I didn't receive it. I don't know if anyone else did.
No,
No.
it wasn't. No, I didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
All right.
Second the motion. Let's move on. We're running late. 7:21.
All right, so move.
Okay,
Thank
motion
you.
move, motion move, first, motion move, wait, who made the motion?
Courtenay,
Okay,
I did.
Courtenay,
Courtenay.
someone, Courtenay made a motion. Brenda, did you second?
yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion moved and passed to amend conditions of the parks and the Excel sheet to be distributed. Got it. Okay.
We're doing the botanical.
Minutes,
Excuse
minutes
me.
have,
Right,
go ahead.
great.
Is there anybody having an issue logging on? That is anybody reaching out to you so I could compile a list and send the Zoom link to them?
I think that might be Nicholas, but he's on the phone, so it's hard to tell how we're gonna fix that.
Thank you. Mr. Almanor?
Unmute.
I have a couple of people calling me. They're having trouble getting into the meeting, so I've been resending the link to them. So I thought, so up to Courtney can continue up to this point until I get everybody on. Okay? Courtney,
Okay,
Okay,
keep following the agenda until.
thank
Okay,
you.
I'm gonna mute myself for now until I get ready. Okay?
All right, thanks, Nicholas. All right, so our next item is a presentation on the CB9 community gardens. I believe we have Maple Street, Lincoln Street, and Ruth was also going to give a presentation. Brenda, would you like to start? I think you represent Maple Street.
I do not, but I will.
Oh, sorry.
I am a part of Maple Street Community Garden, but I want to make it clear, I do not represent them. I happen to be a volunteer there at the garden as well. I am the co-secretary at Maple Street Community Garden. And I will share whatever I can. And as far as I know, at this point, we are in the midst of the final planning for our Harvest Festival, which takes place on the 21st of October. We have, what are we doing? We have sent out flyers and information throughout the community via elected officials. And we have people posting flyers, going to various local stores. We have enlisted local musicians and artisans and cooks and others to participate. Wildlife Conservation Society was to participate, but the Prospect Park Zoo has been severely damaged by the floods, so they will not be able to participate in the Harvest Festival. That is the update on what's going on now at Maple Street Community Garden, other than the everyday gardening activities, which are planting winter crops, etc. The composting is continuing, and we're looking forward to the Harvest Festival and probably some fundraising at that Harvest Festival. I sent out, and I will send out to everybody now on the list, email that included the Harvest Festival flyer, but I didn't have everyone's email there. So I sent it out to about 5 or 6 members of this committee, and I will follow up and send out more. Does anyone have any questions about Maple Street Community Garden? It is the most wonderful garden in our district. It is the most engaging garden in the district. We are trying desperately to get support from outside of the garden volunteers and members, which we are all volunteers, because we really do need ongoing sources of funds in order to maintain and upkeep the garden. It's open to everyone. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be a donator or quote unquote supporter to come and enjoy the space, or to even pick some herbs and veggies or whatever we have to take home with you. So that's why I really think it's a great spot in the middle of the community. Everyone is welcome. Any questions? Who is everybody here at the meeting today? I see new faces.
We were supposed to introduce ourselves. Now I'm ready to go.
Well, we let's do that at the end of the meeting.
Oh, and
Okay.
everyone be here at the end?
But how do you know how to address somebody?
Right.
So let's do that.
We did
Let's have a
input at the
couple.
beginning without realizing that people were having problems logging on. So we kind of halfway did it based on who's here now. But we'll hold it to the end, and thank you, Brenda. Is there someone from Lincoln Street Garden here?
We're supposed to get Johnson Bernard, but I don't see him there. And Gloria Bix is on there,
Okay,
which is about to join. Mhm.
Okay, and then the last person I believe, and I can hand this back to you, Nicholas, is Ruth, who's going to speak about community garden.
Yes, she's from Union Street. Okay.
Yay.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here. It's my first time here. I had introduced myself. I'm Ruth Buse. I'm the treasurer at the Union Street Community Garden. Have been in the garden 16 years now. If you ever walk by, I'm the first plot as you first walk in. And I actually live on Park Place at Nostrand, so I'm one board over. What I wanted to share, so Ms. Gloria Briggs had asked me to join the meeting, and Nicholas called me. So in terms of just what we're up to, we do have a couple October events. October 15th, that's this Sunday, we have a yard sale. So anyone is obviously welcome to come. The garden will be open and we will be having a yard sale. And then our Harvest Fest, Children's Halloween Harvest event is on Sunday, the 29th. So then that's when we will be having our children's event. I think this past summer, we didn't end up, just because of the way life was, we did not have our, we usually do a senior citizens event, but we were not able to do that this year. So those are our two.
Ruth, can I back you up? What date is your Children's Harvest Halloween event?
October 29th.
Thank you.
Yes. And I know there's yard sale flyers out. I will double check with Ms. Gloria, and if she has not sent them, I will forward them to Nicholas or whoever I need to. That's just for tomorrow. And if we have a flyer, I'll check in with our secretary if we have a flyer for the 29th. But children's events usually a lot of fun, so looking forward to that. And I did want to share, I think this is why Ms. Gloria had wanted me to jump in, is just to share a little bit also about a kind of an old project that we are trying to resurrect. Do I have the ability to share screen?
Khalil, can you give her sharing privileges?
Yes, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, and let's see if I can figure myself out. Okay, and share screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. And let's see if I can actually advance anything because I'm 2 screens over. Okay, so let's see. Oops, I'm sorry, hold on. All right, so the reason well, who knows why, but specifically it was sometime in July, we were having our community, one of our Saturdays, and our Green Thumb, Eric from Green Thumb was visiting, and Nicholas also happened to come by that day. We had just having a big cleanup day, and we got to talking about an old plan from the DDC, which was a plan that included, and as you know, we're right above the subway. That's what this big platform is. That's the subway, which you're aware of. The subway entrance is on Eastern Parkway. And there is an old plan out there from the DDC that included bringing water, electricity, and possibly designing or erecting a pavilion on top of this piece of concrete. So if you know, that's Union Street. You come in the front. We have about 50 plots. I think we're actually more than that. We have 50 plots, families, and a variety. So we have, quite a few members. We have a gazebo and a shed. And then there's this platform. And what we, right now, which again, I'm not as familiar with the other gardens, but we get our water from the water hydrant, and there is no power on site. So those have just been the givens in our life. So what came up that day was this old plan and this old promise. And I'm showing you here literally the picture of the design that was done back in 2002. So we're 20 years ago. Ms. Briggs, Gloria was, was the garden head at that time, and she was very much involved in this process. So I'm catching up on this. And I just included one of the letters. I have a whole bunch of letters that I've been going through. And pretty much it is approval from the Department of Design and Construction to allow us to bring in water to the garden. And also, as I was talking to Gloria yesterday, there had been a plan to bring in electricity, and also to potentially do some level of some sort of pavilion, which would be like a planted area. Let me just go to the next slide. So if you can see the plan here, that's the concrete, and there would have been this sort of pavilion and planted area. Again, this is kind of back from 20 years ago. And then most important, first and foremost, was to bring in the water service within the garden. And part of this is because of the legacy of the garden and the subway, the MTA, which is because we are on top of the MTA, the subway stop. And so this is a picture of that old plan. This is a sketch. This is all from 2002 of this, pavilion. This is, very schematic at the time, but it's definitely a nice concept. I'm showing you the garden itself. This is as you look back towards the concrete, it's right here. And then these are just pictures of our garden kind of thriving along. And so this would be erected here, and then potentially somewhere in here, we had been approved to have water lines brought in. That's our garden shed. That's the rest of the garden. And so I'm just sharing this because this all came up during this summer to potentially reopen this conversation. I have reached out to the DDC. I had a call back in late midsummer, and we've been playing a bit of phone tag. So I just made a call again to them this week, and it was pretty much, how do we reopen this project, which kind of stalled. And Ms. Gloria has a few more notes about some of the back and forth way back then. But as far as we know, this is an open project that we'd like to reopen and hopefully bring in water service, electric service if we can, and then the pavilion, if that is also still possible. I myself am an architect. My firm, our location is right down on Fulton and Nostrand. And so I think this is, and being the treasurer, but very involved and very excited about this if we could get it to happen. So I just wanted to share that this is one of the items that we're also trying to work on. And we hope we'll have some good news sometime in the next few months. Thank you. Any questions?
So Ruth, at this point,
Yeah.
Are you in communication with the city then? Do you need support from us?
I think that is the question. I am not sure. Yes, I just got into kind of starting to, my thought, or our thought had been like, let's just try the soft approach first. Is the file still open? Can we find that file? What's out there? what's the story? Why did it just sort of stop? So I think that's our first.
Money.
Money, right, which and Miss Gloria was exactly. So, but that's 20 years ago. So be very curious to just let's pull up the paperwork and see what's out there. And then the question 2 will be, yes, do we need to push further? And again, I am newer in coming into this. Hi there, Miss Gloria. So I'm new. So I thought, let's start with that. Actually, turns out I have there was a young lady who was an undergraduate when I was a graduate student. So she happens to work at the DDC. So I've just been chatting with her. So would love to be able to maybe come back in a week or so when I've maybe had a little bit of back and forth, at least know where the case is, and then have a better concept of what do we need, what do we need, who do we need to push, and because right now I'm not quite sure where it is. If it's just sitting on a desk somewhere, it's been tabled, and everyone's hoping it never comes back. But we'd like to resurrect it.
Can I share?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if she wants to add anything.
We've been down these roads a little bit before. So my first heads up is your project needs an elected. DDC does not make decisions all by themselves. They don't initiate, they react. So my suggestion is spend more energy on talking to your elected. Rita Joseph is, I think, is that still her district?
Rita Joseph.
Rita Joseph. Rita Joseph, she's a very big advocate for gardens.
Okay.
And talk to one of her staffers and ask them what
To
the
make
next
the push.
what the next steps would be. Because you're talking to staffers who don't really have the ability to tell you. If the staffers are still talking to you, they are not the ones who have the ability to move it. The person who you need to have someone fund it, and then you have to have somebody move it. Your question is, where is it now? Nowhere.
Nowhere whatsoever. Yeah.
I don't mean to be rude, but I've done
That's
this
okay.
before. It's nowhere. It's beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Oh,
And it is quite lovely. And that is what this committee has been trying to do. You're the culmination of what we've been looking for. So we've been looking for it to help people like you do this next step. So what you have is, what you can tell Rita Joseph is, you've already been to the community board, and you could get a decision, or ask for a vote, or ask for us to make a motion that we do something in your effort. I mean, that we're nodding our heads is not an action. What you need to get us to do is make a motion. And you get them to make a motion, and then you can say to Rita Joseph, Community Board 9, Parks and Recreation has already made a motion for this, and could you follow up on the next step?
Could you follow up on the next step? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, if I may interrupt, I just want a correction. That's part of the community board is covered by Crystal Hudson. She's the council person. She's going to be the person we're going to have to reach out to get her to do the work, because that's beyond the jurisdiction that covered by Rita Joseph. It does not hurt that we tell her about it anyway. So if you, instead of having one council person, two council person, even though technically, geographically, politically, she's not part of that thing. So we could try to reach out to both. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So same comments, but also to Crystal.
Crystal
Okay.
Hudson.
Thank you so much.
Right. I don't know if Ms. Briggs would like to say a few words, so we could have a mute and hear from her, because she's been dealing with this for the last 20 years. Gloria, would you like to say anything?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Crystal Hudson, yes. I can very well talk to her. I can call her. She will respond. I've done a lot of work with Crystal Hudson, so that's good to know that we can proceed with Crystal. Like she's saying, this is over 20 years now. This is a promise that the transit had made. after the destruction of the garden. And it didn't go forward. They came with the blueprint, the layout, they said it was happening, but it didn't. So hopefully, after all these years, something can happen. I will, Ruth, I can talk to Crystal Hudson as well, or if you want to do it together, that's fine. I do a lot with her and for her, so hopefully that'll be a great help.
So I think we should make a motion from this committee that we're gonna endorse this project. So so we could bring it to the executive board and general board, so we could make it an action item that this committee, along with Gloria and Wolf, we're gonna pursue to see to make it a reality.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
That'd be wonderful. And, I thank God this Ruth is involved. She is an architect, so that's even a plus for us. So, and she's been a member of the garden at least 15 years now. So hopefully all of this will come to pass after all these years. That would be great.
It would be.
So somebody make a motion. I would like to entertain that.
This is Courtney Loisel. I move to support the Union Street Community Gardens project.
Can we make it a little more comprehensive?
Yeah, I'm
We'll
sorry.
try
Yeah,
to say
exactly
what
that.
we want to do instead of just, we got to make it a little more specific. So we'll make a motion that we would like to support this project. We're going to reach out to the councilperson Crystal Hudson to follow up and see if we could make this a reality. Is there any other way we could word this particular motion?
Can I make an amendment to your motion?
Absolutely.
My amendment to the motion is the committee supports the 2002 design promise from who made the original promise?
MTA.
From MTA
and DDC.
and DDC that these design elements and these design elements are implemented at this time. Okay, so is that a specific? Gloria, have I said everything that you want to have happen?
You're on mute, hon.
Okay, Courtney, will you take that as an friendly amendment?
I accept the friendly amendment.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion has been amended. Do we have a second?
Let's hear the whole motion now.
Okay, restate it.
Can I make a suggestion? One of the things that Nicholas mentioned originally was to take the proposal to the board so it could have the full approval of the community board as opposed to just the committee here.
No, well, okay, any motion we make will always bring it back to the executive committee and the community board. That's the
Okay.
reason.
So it has to pass here to get there.
To get.
No, I
there, so-
understand that.
Okay, automatically
Okay.
we passed it. My job is to make sure it gets to both places.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
so the motion is, I stated it, so I didn't write it while I was talking, so. Can somebody restate it so I can write it down?
All right, I hope I got this.
Okay,
I wrote
go
down
ahead.
part of it. So I am moving to provide CB9 support to the 2002 design promise made by the MTA
Stop.
and DDC to
You got-
Union Street.
You got a little too
Community
fast, sorry.
Yes.
I only
Good.
handwrite, I don't
Yeah, but we need to hear the whole thing, and then if it's good, then you can write it all down.
Okay, try it again. I'm sorry, Courtney. Try it again. The motion is to provide CB9 support of the support of the 2002 promise. And that's what I got.
by the MTA and DDC for, maybe we should say, design elements of the Union Street Community Garden.
Do you want to list the
Power,
elements?
it's
Yes.
power and water.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh, yeah. that's
water,
the part.
power. I think that's, yeah, I was gonna say listing, that
That's
would be great.
critical.
Electric
'Cause
power.
They'll come and build a nice little
A pretty
pavilion.
pavilion,
and
but
you
it's
still
the,
be carrying the buckets from the fire hydrant. We do
Right.
the same
that's
thing.
it, Brent, that's it. You're
It's-
right on point.
It's both electric
And
and
water.
water system.
Those are
that they-
most important.
Yes.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this. The motion is to provide CB9 support of the 2002 promise by MTA and DDC for design elements of electric and water systems and a pavilion. Ruth is nodding her head. Anybody else nodding their head?
Not only design and construction.
Design elements. It's not the design elements. All right.
Design,
No.
okay, and pavilion
construction.
construction.
Mhm.
Okay, let's try it again. The motion is to provide CB9 support of the 2002 promise by MTA and DDC for design of electric and water systems and pavilion construction.
For Union Street Community Garden, okay.
Union Street Community Garden.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. So.
Thank you,
Courtney,
Brenda.
Courtney, you're in agreement with this motion? So we are looking now for a second.
I
I
second.
Okay. And second it.
The second by Brenda.
Okay, now you need a vote.
Okay, so are there any discussion or question?
No, but you need to start looking at solar power. Don't let them give you a 10-year-old or 20-year-old power.
100%, yes.
You need solar power now.
100%, yeah.
Yep,
And
that's what I'm glad she said system, so it
I
makes it
love
a little
that.
bright. I
Yeah.
like that. Okay,
Yeah, I love that.
okay, any other discussion?
And I'd just like to suggest, when this goes in front of the whole board,
Mhm,
that a representative from the community garden also attend.
mhm.
Because sometimes I've noticed during the board meetings that questions will arise that we
Mhm.
didn't necessarily think about or cover during our committee. So I think it's really helpful if you're there to make sure you present the accurate information about your project and make sure that we don't miss something as board members.
Okay. Ruth, can you and I go?
Sure, it depends on when, but yes, and I can prepare whatever, a slide, just so it's a nice, clear, I mean, I did a quick slide for today, but, so it's like very
October
clear.
23rd, 7 o'clock at the
It's-
middle
it's-
school.
It's in person on
It's in
Empire.
person?
Yes,
It's in
Empire
person.
and so.
But
I'm
you only
gonna
have to
go-
be there for the time. You can leave that.
Okay, so then I'll make up okay, 23rd, I think that works.
Okay,
And if you're gonna have slides, then you may want to talk to Khalil
yeah,
before.
we'll make arrangements so you could have it projected so everybody could see it.
Okay, either slides or I'll just make a slide, whichever way, whatever works best.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this in my calendar.
Mhm.
Okay,
All right,
Okay, so now let's go and vote. Are there any discussion? Are there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Let's do voice vote or signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Anybody opposed? Seeing not, any abstention? Unanimous, this is by unanimous consent, motion carry. Thank you very much.
Thank
Within that same space, I wanted to introduce Mr. Edison McPherson, who's interested to talk about beekeeping within that garden. Yeah, so
This garden?
yes. So, Mr. McPherson, Edison, you want to say a few words, what you would like to propose for this garden?
Well, I want to say first, good evening to everyone. Glad for the opportunity of being able to come and address us on something that I think is so beneficial to our community gardens. As you may be aware about our bees, the plight of the bees, and we are trying right now to be able to reintroduce beekeeping in another way, especially in New York City. As a matter of fact, there used to be an inhibition about having bees, honeybees in New York City, but they have removed that, and as they are trying to encourage individuals to start beekeeping, whether it is on rooftops or into gardens. And when Nick had introduced me to this, I did visit the Union Street station there, and I observed it is such a wonderful place for beekeeping. Well, some folks are a little concerned. They have heard all these stories about bees, especially the Africanized bees, and people begin to get worried about these. But that's just one side of the story. Bees we have are tremendously calm, docile. As a matter of fact, the guy who I do business with to get bees, I mean, he would go and attend to his bees in just a t-shirt, a short pants. Sometimes he just wears a wife beater and a short pants with slippers, and he attends to his bees. They're very that calm and docile. But more so, we really want to introduce these colonizers or pollinators into our community, and so that people be aware of them and see how they handled, and how we can really live in harmony one with the other. Well, I'm a teacher at the Erasmus campus. My school is Academy for College Prep and Career Readiness, and when I was contacted about this, I said this is a beautiful opportunity so that we can have a place where we can have bees, and our students can come out and actually see how beekeeping is done. Well, I'm glad to meet with so many individuals from different community gardens, and I really would like to have like a physical view or physical layout of your place, and see how we can do that. But I am already convinced about the one at the Union Street, that is a great place that we can have it, and it's a place bees we can work in symbiosis with the bees and do our gardens, because as a matter of fact, I was pointing out to the folks there at Union at the Union Street community garden, look, you have hundreds of bees. Honeybees are actually in the garden, pollinating the plants and stuff that you have. I said, we can do that for ourselves, and it's going to be a learning experience. And of course, where kids from the community will be able to come and actually see what is happening. And so some people who are a little intimidated by bees, but realizing that, hey, we already have bees around and they are buzzing in our gardens. These are not managed bees, and some may probably would have come from the botanic gardens, but we do have them around. And I would really like to see us, apart from the crops and stuff that we grow in our gardens, be able to do a little piece of the apiculture, and so we demystify what is going on. Well, my plan is that as the different gardens agree about putting them there, I would seek about getting the because we got to get a permit from the city for that. All the city requires is that we give the location where the colonies are, and how many colonies we have in that particular location. That's all they require from us in doing that. And know that they are very interested in getting back bees and bee life back into our city. So I would really like to have at least a colony, well, a colony or two in every one of the gardens, so that I think we have, how many gardens they are represented? There's about 4 or 5, but in each of these we can have colonies, and we can take time going. Yeah, sorry.
Keep going.
Eh,
Continue, Edison. Mhm.
Good. Right. So we can take time going from garden to garden just to see how these things are thriving. I myself would do the instructing on these. I would even donate the bees. I would get the bees and I would get them. What I would really require is that you get the hardware to do it. Or the company that I actually get bees from is Manlake, but we can order them from Manlake, and the hardware. These will be the boxes and the frames and stuff like that. And I provide the bees and attend to the bees in our gardens so that you can see how they're growing and progressing. And we would be able to at least I know that we always want fundraising anyhow, do honey extraction, at least get a little thing going to contribute to some of the expenses. So if each garden agree, you can pass the information on to Nicholas, and then we would be preparing for next spring, because right now bees are actually going into the winter, so we wouldn't start a hive now, but in the spring, in April, we can start up. So we have some months to think about it, and once I get the consent, I can go ahead and place orders for bees, and you get the hardware, and that would be the boxes on the frames, and your personal protective equipment, your PPE. I will provide my own, and well, for me it's just basically a jacket. I don't have to use it, but just being cautious. You adjust the jacket with the hood. Some people would like to wear gloves, but I personally don't wear gloves anymore. But I will just show you what is necessary for the beekeeping, and we can really have a wonderful time of planting our crops, having some bees, and having them pollinate our crops and things like that, so that at least we can be competing with the issue that we are having now of disappearance of the bees. I know that some of you are aware that this has been a problem throughout the entire of the United States, the disappearance of the bees, and it is threatening our food supply. So I want us to be one of the agents of change right here in Brooklyn, so that we will be able to, show how things are done, and begin to, in our own way, make our contribution to the bee life in the city. Well, some of you, probably Zona Nicholas may know that I actually live in Pennsylvania, but I do work in Brooklyn, so I'm in Brooklyn every day, and that would afford me opportunity of being able to come and visit the gardens, and plan whatever has to happen. And you see, like this evening on Thursdays, I could do that run, one Thursday for one garden, one Thursday for the next, and we'll be able to do that. And if it necessitates during the summer, I mean, by this time I'll have some other persons trained to be able to do some of these things, like when school is out, but I will come down, every so often and see how things are going. So that's really my proposal, that we would be able, as organizers of these community gardens, to have apiculture, not only agriculture, but apiculture as part of our endeavor to bring that aspect of beekeeping into the Brooklyn life. And as you discuss it in your various communities or various boards, I will get the feedback, and I know whether we have a consensus, so go ahead to have this thing done. Any questions anyone would like to ask of this adventure?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I think you were supposed to come out and sit in on a meeting with us, with the gardeners. Am I correct?
Yes, because remember, I remember your name, and I told you that that's my mother's name.
I I let Nicholas know when the next meeting was and asked that you be there.
Mhm.
It's really important that you talk to the gardeners because, like you said, some are not that much
Comfortable.
and there's some that are. So if
Yeah.
you would come out like you talking to us now and explaining it in such detail with your expertise, I think that would be beneficial if you would come out like that and just talk to the garden members, because some of them are not in favor of
Right. I understand. And I would really like to talk with him.
yeah, but and I set up the meeting for you, but you was unable to attend. So now
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes.
now we're in limbo because the garden is the time of the harvest is over. They're just,
Yes.
I don't know whether I could get the members together or not to come out just to listen to what you have to say pertaining to the bees.
Right. But more or less, Glory, if you it's going to be like we have to start in the spring. That's when we start doing it. So we have until then, if you can organize a meeting, and then I'll be able to just chat with everybody.
That's preferable. That's really a good thing to do. Okay, all right. So
All right.
we start again like in April, Ruth?
Yes, April is a good time.
Okay.
Do we need to meet? So if we could, I think I 100% agree with Gloria that it is a bit, it's a bit personal because some people are very afraid of bees or
Yes.
have reactions to bees. I have a client who we couldn't even plant flowers in his garden because so, and then others are like, when are we starting with the bees? So the question would be, when would be the best time for a meeting on it? And if we do it in the spring and it is a go, would it still happen next spring, or do you need some? Okay.
No, if it is a goal, we can have it happening. From the time we get it in the spring, that's the time when the bees begin to grow and build up and all of that. So, and we have, I keep bees in Pennsylvania, but we have even warmer weather in New York City than I have up in the mountains. And so it will be a go for us. So once they agree and want to see, and they're curious about it, we just get two hives, and that's what we will start with, and just see how it goes.
Okay. All right, you see, we'll go forward after them, which we'll set the meeting. Garden opens up in April. Once the garden opens, that's the first meeting that we'll have pertaining to the
Right.
bees.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in on it. Just make sure you pass the information to Nicholas, and he gets me.
Okay. All right. Make sure you come to the next meeting.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I would not be up in here. In April, I'll be down in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So I will definitely be able to come to the meeting.
Great. Well, may I suggest?
Brenda has her hand up.
Yeah,
Brenda
I was
has her
gonna
hand up.
suggest that. Yeah, go ahead, Brenda.
That's because we don't have chat. I can't say good evening.
Oh, there is chat in here. It's supposed to have chat in this one.
Garden. So I had to wave at the representative. Because we don't have chat.
Oh, Khalid, we don't have chat in this. Most of the other meetings usually have chat.
No, Nicholas, that's a whole nother subject. Let's move on.
No, because I've been to other meetings with the chat. I'll make sure we have it next time. Okay. Go ahead, Brenda.
No, I just wanted to welcome the next person, the Zhenya, to the meeting.
Oh, hi. Yeah, hi, Tina. I was gonna say, Brenda, would your garden be interested in further discussions with this, or would you like to set up anything further?
That was
mean,
gonna
I
be
know
my
it's
su- that was gonna be my suggestion, so.
I
Let's
believe I
begin.
said at the opening of the meeting that I am not the representative for Maple Street Community Garden. But
I
will
was not
speak.
here when you said
Now
that.
I'm so happy that Zhenya is here.
Oh,
So
I see. Oh,
she
hi,
knows
Jenya.
more history of the garden than I do. I'm the secretary, but I am one of the newer members, only in the last 3 or so years. So it's wonderful that we have someone who was there from when the garden began. And that would be Zhenya. So she can speak to bees and wanting bees, and we had bees and no more bees. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Xenia, please introduce yourself, and you came in at the right time. We're gonna try to keep it short as the time is advancing. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I just want to say Brenda's just as important as everyone else in the garden body. So she's a beautiful representation of our community. I think she wanted me to speak just briefly about the Harvest Festival, or is there anything else that you wanted me to touch on, Brenda?
If
Yes,
you're aware of any ideas that anyone gave to the garden previously about beekeeping, because Mr. McPherson just spoke about bringing bees into the garden. So that's the discussion that we're on right now, having bees at the community gardens. So I don't know what people think of that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I love bees. I love them, but we have this idea has been brought up a couple of times, and we have discussed it and voted to not have bees because we just don't feel like we have enough space for it, and we need to sort of like ice, because the garden is sort of used up in all these ways, and there's a lot of traffic, so we're just concerned about giving the bees their proper space. But we can always revisit that conversation if we can assess if space is available.
Right. So what I could promise you on this is that if you invite me wherever your garden is, I will come and take a physical look at it.
Right.
And see if it is feasible. Because I don't want to push it in any community that does not feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But if we need the space and how we can set it up, then we can work with it. If it can't be set up in your space, then we have to forego on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, that'd be great.
David has his hand up. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I think I believe an educational component would always be a good idea. Now, the Union Street project, if we could get the bee situation going in that project and see how how it comes out, other gardens might be interested in having bees, right? So I think we should just take it as a step at a time. Increase the education, right? And basically, when you're doing your stuff at Union Street, invite other garden members to come over and see. Again, you said you're willing to make trips to see the feasibility of having bees in other gardens.
Yes.
And that, I think basically once people understand and are properly educated on the aspects of the bee situation, I think people will go for it because there's a benefit. There's a benefit to having bees. Besides honey, etc., we need bees to pollinate these plants to keep life alive. Right? You see, what I mean? So, I think a strong educational component. Now, my second aspect, I always try to advocate for our younger people being exposed to these kinds of activities. Whenever anybody comes to us and tells us about what they want to do, one of my first questions to them is, what plans do you have for the younger people? You know what I mean? Because this bee business, we, throughout the United States, we have been losing bees, etc., etc. People scared, and the information is not, well accepted. But again, it's an avenue, for young people to take seriously, because this could be, very lucrative. It could be a very lucrative, and we could diversify the amount of things. We could have people planting, we could have beekeepers. We could have people, they could do
Nicholas,
almost
we need to
anything.
move on. No.
All right,
no
let's go.
disrespect to anyone else, but
Yes, you're gonna have to move on.
What time it is?
It's about
It's after
8:10.
Okay, cool.
8:10, so we gotta move on.
Yep.
Even though
Let's go. Let's
so
go.
we will
so
come
at this,
back.
okay, Nicholas, at this point,
I'm
Mr.
trying to
McPherson,
stop-
he made a
Yeah.
presentation, but he's not asking for a motion.
Well, that's where I was about to bring us here. So I like for us to come to the point where we as a committee could decide to support this particular endeavor. The best part I like about this, that involves students, because it's not just going to be him, it will be student coming from the high school to come and get the experience. What I also would like to add is the fact there's a hive at the Prospect Park Zoo. I was hoping that the people from the Prospect Park Zoo, they used to attend the meeting, be here. So this is another opportunity to get the students involved also. So I don't know, when we get to our part of the agenda, we'll look at the liaison report. This is something we have to do. At this point, I'd like to see somebody make a motion to support the idea of having bees in community board 9. If somebody will craft a motion and we'll vote on it, and then we'll do that.
Motion crafters.
Motion. Mhm.
I would suspect that this motion is premature. It's not ripe yet. We don't have enough information. So I ask that this motion gets revisited.
So you want to
That if no motion has been made and that this subject gets revisited.
So then the conclusion there, let's reschedule at another meeting the next month or the month after to talk about this particular concept and idea.
Nothing's
Right.
going to happen until April.
Right. What I was just saying is that
That's not quite.
Go ahead, Brenda, go ahead.
I think right now, we're not gonna start in April to have the discussion and the education. That needs to start prior to April. so that
Before,
when
I
the
agree.
garden Open up in April, they already have some information. If Ms. McPherson is willing to come to Maple Street to assess whether or not there is space, for bees, then we're open. Come, take a look.
just give me a day and time. Well, Thursdays.
Saturday.
No, I won't be in Brooklyn Saturdays. I live in Pennsylvania.
You asked me for a day. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what
and
days
Saturday is
are you
worship.
gonna be in Brooklyn? What days will you be in Brooklyn that you can come?
I'm in Brooklyn from Monday to Friday, but Friday is a little short because I try to make it back to Pennsylvania. So but my best days are like Wednesdays or Thursdays would be the best days because we do the school we got late on Mondays and Tuesdays, but Wednesdays and
Let's
Thursdays is
information at the end of the meeting. Nicholas can get your information and pass it on to us and vice versa. And then we can contact one another. We'll reach out to you to see what time on a Wednesday morning between
after school
and 12:30.
After 2 p.m. He's a school teacher. After school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we have other
At
items to
2:30.
move along.
Right.
Okay, keep going.
All right,
Yeah, can I suggest the planning be taken offline?
Yeah, that's what coordinate, that's the words I was looking for.
No, well,
Take the
Nicholas has
discussion
permission
offline.
to share my information with everybody. I'm
I
giving
will-
you
No, no,
permission.
no. No, you share it with Nicholas. We
He
have
has it,
another
he has it.
item. Okay, let's, next
All right,
item.
so
please go.
let's wrap up and move on to that item. I want to thank Edison for this presentation.
You're
And
welcome.
the committee will revisit that at least, if
Right.
not by the next meeting
No
and the
problem.
following meeting. All right, thank
All
you.
right.
Because
Thank you
yeah,
very much. All right. Take care.
okay, we have to move on because I have a lot more stuff to cover. So,
Right.
but
Okay.
yeah,
Go ahead.
my main thing is to get, since all the community garden was gonna have Harvest Day, to give them a platform to let everybody know. We meet Mr. John St. Bernard. I try to reach him, so I don't know, then we'll pass that information to him. At this point, I'm going to try to get Brooklyn Femme to do short commentary. Is there anybody from Brooklyn Femme here? I see somebody named Shani. Would you tell us who you are and who are you representing?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Shani, could you identify who you are, what group you're representing? Because I sent the invitation to Jan from Brooklyn Femme. Are you from Brooklyn Femme?
No, I'm not. I'm just a resident on Carroll
Okay.
and avid gardener, so I'm just joining the meeting to
Okay.
listen.
All right. So we don't have Brooklyn Femme, then we're gonna move on. So they did get the invitation and the link. Our next item is the Cultural Liaison Institution reports. Who would like to start? Naomi, you'd like to speak a little bit for your report?
Yes, so I actually have a call scheduled on Monday of next week with Laval Bryant from Brooklyn Museum. And I have a few ideas that I have to share with her. So we're gonna have a great collaboration meeting, and once we finalize our plans for how to really collaborate better with Community Board 9, then I'll report back to you with the next steps.
Okay, thank you. Botanical Garden.
That would be me, and I'm pulling up the email right this minute.
Mhm.
Okay, so Brooklyn Botanic Garden, the email says, it's a big update, and that would be the Lightscape is returning for this third year at BBG. Specifically, Ethan would like to share that the load in process will start October 30th and will continue through November 16th. In years past, we have had some feedback from residents on Washington Avenue about this, and we want to say that we're working to make sure that this causes as little disruption as possible. If anyone encounters any issues, I would like them to reach out to me so that they can address any concern, me being Ethan. And if you have any questions, you can just, I'll tell you at the end how to get to them. The other update is that starting in November, the garden will once again be pay what you wish on all weekdays until spring. As always, community tickets will continue to be available on the weekends as well. Finally, this Saturday is City of Forest Day, and BBG will be hosting some special programs to mark the occasion, including a free workshop on street tree care and other exciting programs. So that's the BBG report. I never heard back from BAM. So those are my two reports.
Okay, so you, Prospect Park Alliance.
I have a lot of updates, but I'll try to keep it brief. The park was, of course, damaged in the flooding, so that's just something to know. They have some events coming up. There's going to be visioning sessions about the 3rd Street and Lincoln Road Playground restoration. They didn't announce the dates yet, but I think they'll be available on their website. There will also be available in the park and online. Same with visioning sessions about the Shirley Chisholm Welcome Center, starting in November, online in the community. And then there will also be Prospect Park Alliance listening sessions in October and November. So that's all things to keep an eye out for. The other thing that was discussed in depth was new funding that's come into the park. They've gotten funds for the Lincoln Road Playground restoration, 3rd Street Playground restoration, for the Shirley Chisholm Welcome Center, and some additional funds, quite a lot of different ones. I won't go through the whole thing, but significant things. The other thing I wanted to mention tonight was just as a follow-up from the noise complaint in the Vale from last meeting, that they have committed to doing more, what would you call it? I guess walkthroughs, or paying more attention to the noise in the Vale, because the whatever noise that was taking place was not permitted or supposed to be happening. So it was reported, and the Prospect Park will follow up on that. I think that's the most, that'll hit the high points. Nicholas, I don't know if I missed anything, but I think that hits most of it.
I think so too. So let's see, I have this graphic up to see, to make sure we cover all the areas. And we need, I didn't get anything from the Prospect Park Zoo. We
Prospect Park Zoo.
You are Brenda, right? Go ahead.
I was in contact with their curator of education this week. The zoo is closed early. It usually is open till mid-November, but they have a lot of damage to all of the buildings that house the animals and the staff. And as a result, they've closed the zoo. And so we're not getting any more participation in terms of outreach from them right now until they deal with the damage that they're having. That's it from the zoo for now.
Okay. What else we have not covered? And I think with visual arts, we covered what's happening in terms of the galleries within the Community Board 9.
Scissors, and we know that it's going to Derby Girls.
Moving on.
Okay, I think, did we have somebody for that?
No.
I don't think so. So that's one area we probably will have a liaison to keep track of what's happening in terms of art within the community. And hopefully, I hope to add another circle so that it has to do with sports. I still have not found somebody who's going to be covering that, so I'm going to try to do that. But at this point, I'm going to go to David Romeo and let's talk about the neighborhood parks.
In terms of, well, nothing new to really mention with the neighborhood parks, especially our park, Jason and Patrick. Things are still the same in limbo. We're waiting to hear from them. Basically, in terms of how we could get the stuff we need to get done. So nothing new to report, really.
Okay. Well, let me speak a little bit about this. We had developed what we call I think in the agenda, a tool, and I probably want to be able to share it with you guys today. But before that, one of the things in the agenda was what's happening at Wingate Park. I got an email from Dante saying Queenbeck Park was supposed to go into phase 4. Phase 4 was going to be about $4.4 million. For some reason, the city cut it off. So they're going to stop phase 4. So I wanted to bring that to the committee. So this is something, what else we can do? My suggestion is there any possibility if the city can have the $4.4 million, which I don't think it's a lot of money, we could get some philanthropic donation to get that done. Because there was a park in Brownsville that got developed. I think the Urban League was involved, the parks and all this stuff, that's why they get done. But I don't think any of our neighborhood park have that kind of connection. I think something we need to go and explore, what money that can come from the private sector, from the philanthropic sector, to try to get some of this work done. I mean, this.
I'm glad Orange volunteered to do the box. Thank you.
So I like to,
may I
I like,
ask what was
yeah, I like to open this discussion. Go ahead. Mhm.
what was supposed to be part of part 4? Do you know?
I don't know, and that's the thing I want to find out, because they're saying phase 4. I haven't had a chance to really find out what's happening, and I just want
I
to.
think
Mhm.
I think phase 4 is, you know, the seating arrangements at the side of the field, because what the commissioner was saying, that they had no plans to do the field. The field was recently done, but the seating arrangements, they wanted to take out the old boards from there and give us new seating. That I know was part of phase 4. I mean, what again was included in phase 4, I already can't say. I know the seating arrangements, you know, across from the field was one of the main points for phase 4.
Can we
okay.
table this discussion
Okay.
until we have the information about what was planned? And also, if we want to get outside funding specifically for Wingate Park, or is it for some other parks in our area?
I think it should be for some, not only for Windward Park, but going forward for many other parks. Because I did send to David, I'm looking for the email where what happened in Barnesville. I think the park was called Van Dyke Park. So I'm trying to find that out. So we could see let's go and find out how did that get accomplished, because there are a lot of community, other organizations joining with the Parks Department to provide funding to get this particular park done. So I know in the interest of time, I don't want to go and look for but something like you said, let's talk about it at our next meeting. Let's follow up. So
right.
So let's do that. The tool this was the tool that was developed between myself, David, and David Walters, who could not be here today because he has some other thing. We would like to share it with you guys. I'm working on it. Maybe it will be something that everybody can have access to. I had in a conversation with Courtney, she made a good suggestion. Courtney, why don't you put that suggestion again for the whole committee to hear about it?
Sure. I think it was actually Celeste's suggestion. But at the last meeting, it had been brought up. We were talking at the total board meeting. We were talking about the commitment to 1% for parks. And it was brought up that there's not a lot of accountability that's brought to anyone about how the money might be used. And Celeste had mentioned in one of her commentaries that we should start, if we're going to support a 1%, that at that point we should start actually tracking the parks, seeing what changes, seeing if there are changes or not, if improvements are made or not, and what resources are actually being brought to the parks. And I thought that was an excellent idea. My suggestion on how to implement it would be, we all live in CB9 and probably are nearby to a number of the parks. If we could take assignments for the parks that we have within our district and commit to going to each park on a quarterly basis, filling in the park evaluation that Nicholas has already developed, and maybe taking a couple of pictures or something, so we start actually documenting how things are progressing or not. and then using that to advocate for further resources within our district.
Great idea.
So to add to this point, this is exactly what I said in our last meeting. And I asked for follow-up to see where the list was, the Excel spreadsheet, the pictures. I reached out to the community board. No one knew what I was talking about. I asked my email to be forwarded to Nicholas. So nothing happened. And I think that we do need a baseline. And apparently the baseline was already done, but that was last year. So it's almost as if we need to start all over again. I can see the written words, but I think we need pictures because I don't think people are so responsive to written words, but if they can see pictures like here where I'm only looking at good things right now. So if you get down to something that's not so good, if you have a picture of it, I think that would be helpful to advocate to get things done in those parks. So, but I still think that we need as a group to go visit the parks again and to build off of this work and to make it more where we're advocating to get things done for the community.
Okay, any other discussion? If you're able to see my screen, this is the park assessment tool we developed, and we first we established the baseline. This is Rolf and Henry Park. Based on what we visited, this is the kind of things we put down. So my interest is to make this available to everyone. If it's possible, we could set it up in a internet link that you could have access and just fill in that information. So we did have, okay, let's see, sheet 2 is Mark and Jason. And how many of them? Let's see. And this was Dodger Playground. These are all the places we visited. So we want to make this available. Just give me a moment, I think.
I think that's what we
Hold on 1 second.
of the meeting also, that it wasn't sent out to everyone, so.
No, we haven't sent it to anybody. You guys give me 1 minute. I'm gonna mute myself for 30 seconds. So because we developed this, we never submitted this to the committee for approval. So this is what we did, but right now I want to make it formal. We're going to be using this. Just give me a moment.
Park we have, that's the McNair Park, right?
Right.
33 p.m.
Okay, 1 second.
Nicholas, you're gonna start losing people.
Yeah, I just, okay, just give me a minute. Hello, John. We are still in the meeting. You can, if you click on the link, you could join the.
I think I'm gonna step out also. Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Ms.
Nice to meet you too, Ruth. Take care.
Okay, all right. So then it'll be. Okay, no problem. All right then, thanks. Okay, bye. Okay. Yeah, that was John
While
Sembernard
we're waiting for Nicholas.
that was John Sembernard from the Lincoln State Garden. He said he was in a class, he was not able to make it. So, but I'll have a conversation with him. What I like to do is to have this available, maybe even into the CB9 website, so people can have access to it. So, and then
Nicholas,
they could
we need to move on.
Yeah.
So did we do community comment?
Yes, we went to, that was the thing for Brooklyn Fam. And now, do you have an additional comment you want to do it? Because I know I went through that very quickly.
Well, there was a little back and forth about, I made a comment at this meeting, and then I got continual telephone. Well, I made a comment at this meeting, and then I got a telephone call from Dante from CB9 asking me what I said, as if I was a 9-year-old and he was calling me out. I don't want to have this to be a prolonged thing, but disrespect is not something that I'm expecting. And, this meeting is recorded. Everything everybody's saying, you want to see what we're saying, look at the meeting, okay? And in this particular case, the question at hand was some pictures that, there were some pictures that, oh, I know what it was. Excuse me for I lost my train of thought. What had happened was, someone not in this meeting had sent me some pictures regarding
Jackie Robinson.
the Jackie, thank you, Jackie Robinson playground, and there was construction. It wasn't construction in the park playground. They were using the playground as a staging ground,
Correct.
for the children. And the community, actually, this is a board member sent the question to Dante. And I was asking a second question of Dante. What's going on with the Jackie Robinson playground? And I think it's the Department of Transportation using it as a staging ground. That's a very dangerous place to put heavy construction in front of small children, particularly small children. So that's my public comment. One is I do not expect to get called out and get personal telephone calls asking, what did I say? And two, the question at hand was a community board member sent the community board pictures and asked what's going on. And we never got an answer back. All we got was like, what'd you say? So that's my public comment. That, what's still going on with Jackie Robinson Playground. Thank you.
I'm going to add to that because this was on my mind. I got an email and a phone call in the day after the meeting, allegedly to ask about some context for the meeting. But these meetings are recorded.
Right.
So I don't understand why CB9 office staff are sending out emails and making phone calls to individual committee members regarding what they said or didn't say or heard at a meeting. It's inappropriate. It should not happen again, because what bothers me is that it has this chilling effect on some people. It's as if you can't speak freely or else someone's going to be coming, to check what you said. That's not appropriate. These are open public meetings. No one should be calling anyone the next day to ask, what did she say? What did he say? Who said what? What was the context? Because the meeting is recorded. So it's not appropriate. And I think that needs to be made clear to the staff who sent the emails and made the phone calls regarding what was said at a Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. And if anyone was offended by anything that was said, we're all adults. You need to speak to the adult, or you need to speak publicly and say what you expect or don't expect, or what upset you. We don't even care what upset you, because it's not personal.
Yes.
And you shouldn't go
Yeah,
on.
you are a public servant. You should not be upset about anything.
Okay, just let's
Right.
move on. Thank you, Brenda. Can we move on to
No,
LaShawn?
don't thank me, because I received a phone
Phone
call. So I'm
call.
speaking on my behalf, not
Well,
yours.
before we move on, I
Mhm.
think importantly, what about the subject? Like, is
I
anyone
know,
going to
that's exactly what
address
we
the
were
subject?
saying.
That
That's
is the
what it
most
was.
important thing.
That's
We're
exactly
here
what
to
we were saying.
serve. The people who work at the board are there to serve, are being paid to serve the community. And so what's the issue at the park? And we're the Parks and Recreation Committee, so what do we do about it? A resolution or what? You know, this is really, this part of like people's feelings being heard about a comment or not, it just doesn't make any sense. If the person whose feelings are hurt addresses the issue,
Thank you.
then they
Then
have all of our respect.
Yes.
Because it's about the kids in the playground who can't play in that playground, or at least to get some indication as to how long is it going to go on? When is the equipment going to be moved? If there's damage to the park from the equipment, how's that going to be addressed? And so I don't know, we just sit up in these committees and the board and the same thing over and over again. And so how can we address the issue of knowing why this stuff is in the park, why children can't play there? Who's going to do something about that? How does that go to the executive committee so the committee can address that?
I think it should. I think it should.
So how do we get it there, Nicholas? I want to know
I
how we
am
get it there.
going to raise that particular topic at the next executive committee meeting, because I think the way that, to me, that is respectful, and I don't condone that. And I don't, this is now, we are public servant. We have to be transparent. You are more community members, you pay taxes. It's only right that you ask questions of your government, because we are part of the government. That's all it is. If you
Nicholas.
call or email somebody in such a tone and manner that he has a chilling effect, that's uncalled for. And we need to go and address it, not only to the executive board, but to the whole board. That's my position. That's my position on it. And what I like to suggest for people at the next public commentary we have for the in-person meeting to bring the subject up.
But that's not that's a subject.
That's
But
a
the
separate
But
issue.
the subject is the park.
No,
The
that's
subject is the park.
I
Address the
understand
main
that.
issue, which
I
was
understand that.
the
I understand that.
conditions at Jackie Robinson Park were not addressed.
Yes, right.
So the public servant at CB9 in the office missed that email for whatever reason and did not address the main issue. And they, to our knowledge, still have not addressed the issue.
No, I think those two things should be highlighted. Why is the condition happen for that park, and what happened? What happened? The on-call blowback for the meeting. It's two different things, and I'm quite clear on that. And I think I will, at the next executive board meeting next week, I will bring both up. Okay.
And how we can remedy this situation.
Right.
Not
And
just
how-
why it's happening, but how to remedy it.
What's gonna be done about it?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
LaShawn has had her hand up for at least 10 minutes. Can we go
Oh,
on
I'm
to?
sorry, LaShawn. LaShawn, please go ahead, because we're gonna.
Hello, good night. Thank you. I know, sorry about that. I just want to know what you guys, if anything, if you've had any talks with parks or about the lantern flies and what they're doing to try to mitigate this insect, because I'm sorry. To hold this a second, just to mitigate this issue. So just was curious, so I thought I'd bring it to you guys and see if there's anything that can be done.
This is something we could, after this is a topic that we have to bring to the district manager to address at his monthly cabinet meeting. So he could bring that question to the parks. On a monthly basis, he has a meeting, or his cabinet meeting, they call it. What can help is if you could send me those questions and I will get it to him, and then we'll ask him to come and give us an answer. And that is something that will apply to what the situation at the Jackie Robinson Park. Also, go ahead. Anybody else?
No, I was just saying the lantern flies at our garden is it's tremendous. It's a lot.
Well, they tell us if we see them, kill them, and that's what I've been doing. So,
Yeah, but we have so many. It's hard.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Yes, but like the Bronx Zoo, I noticed they have traps everywhere and I haven't seen anything else like that around the city. So I want to know what Parks is doing because the zoo in the Bronx is the only place where I've seen that they're trying to do anything. So I just want to know what the city is doing and, you know, what we can do in our district. Because you can't just stomp them out. It's not gonna, you know, help us.
Maybe this is a situation where you should also have backup with 311.
Okay, so LaShawn, your question is, what are we doing? And the answer is,
What is the Parks Department doing?
what's the Parks Department doing? And the Parks Department actually is Prospect Park liaison. Can we push that? Courtney, are you still here? Courtney, can you add that to a question that you asked at your next Parks and Recreation, and I'm sorry, Parks and Park Alliance? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And add, and if you would, add what LaShawn discussed, that the Bronx Zoo is doing something, you know, what are they doing?
Let it be reflected in our minutes so we could show when everybody did that this is something we covered. I mean, in the interest of time, I'm trying to move on. The only thing that's left is the board conference of all the community board and Parks Recreation Committee for spring. I would love to table that particular topic for next meeting. So I'm making the motion to table the agenda 8 section B for next meeting. Is there any objection to that?
None.
Okay. Seeing none, the agenda item has been tabled for next month meeting. Okay. I think I put voting an action item. So is there any way we could summarize all the action, all the stuff we voted on, any action item for next meeting? So we're trying to bring this meeting to a close.
We only have one action item, and that was the we made a motion for
Support Union Street.
to support Union Street Community Garden.
Okay.
And that's the one action that was voted on. So we just have one action and it was voted.
Right, and also we're gonna invite Miss Guys to come and do a presentation at the next general board meeting. Okay, that's
That was an
action
action, that's an action item, but it wasn't voted on. I mean,
item. Okay,
it's just,
why don't we vote for that? Because
why
let's
don't we close?
Well, are there, okay, yeah. All right, are there any old business? Any new business? A motion to adjourn is appropriate.
Adjourn. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor?
We
Let
have
us say
about 4
aye.
people seconding.
Okay.
No, I moved that we stay for another 25 minutes. For whatever reason.
I think you guys
Anything that passes your mind. Okay.
Okay. So
Good.
I like to thank everybody for, I think we got pushed quite a lot. So in between now and next meeting, we'll be talking to each other and see how we could get things done.
You're gonna send out McPherson's information. You're gonna send out the
Excel sheet tool.
Excel spreadsheet with the
Right,
on
right.
it.
The tools.
The tools. These are action items. I just want to make sure they know that.
If you didn't take notes, shame on you.
David, Romeo, you're having too good a time. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Thank you all for staying so long.
Mhm.
It's the
Okay.
longest meeting we've had. ever.
Nicholas,
Yes.
you and I would talk.
We'll
Take
talk.
care.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.